Welcome, Second Life viewers. Today we have a special guest with us, Mr. Arthur. So let's begin. How are you, Arthur?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Introduction about you.
Yeah, I'm Arthur Maddocks-Brown. I have started a business called Just Another Moment, which has the aspirations and the ambition to become the world's largest travel-minded mental health business. That's me. That's what I do. I want to help one person a year achieve a dream that they didn't think that they could achieve previously.
Okay. Which place have you grown up?
Yeah, so I grew up in a couple of different places. So I started the first 9 years of my life in England. I was born in England and lived in a little county called Cornwall, which is the very southwestern part of England. You can't go any further south than Cornwall. And I grew up on the beaches and really, really loved it. But when I was 9, I moved to Australia and sort of grew up on the beaches over in Brisbane, Australia. So I was there for 21 years um, before I moved back to England this year after a couple of months of travel. So, yeah.
Let's come to the main question of this session, that what is that incident which you want to share with us which completely changed your life, or we call it as second life.
Yeah. So I think for me, I mean, there's been a number of different life changing things and, like that sort of fork in the road that could go off in different directions. And if you look back, you could wonder what if and so on. But the thing that really changed my life was last year when my partner sort of told me that after 10 years together that she wasn't sure if she wanted to be with me and she needed some space. And I think for me, like when I heard that and I felt that I had this really uneasy feeling. I remember it's the 26th of January and we hadn't even had that conversation yet, but I woke up really early at like 4 a.m., went down to the beach to look at the sunrise, and and I just stayed there all like pretty much all day until like 2 p.m. And I just had this really, really uneasy, unsettled feeling about something. And then when she came home, um, that's when she told me, and that was like a really big sort of shock for me. And I didn't really know how to handle that. But that was like the beginning of the major transformation in my life. I just wanted her in my life. I didn't want a different life. I was very happy. I struggled with my mental health, of course, but I think she was struggling with her mental health at the time as well, and so she had to leave. And then so when she left, I sort of was like, well, what can I do to be better? What can I do to be a better person for myself, but ultimately be a better person for her? So I sort of started going to work. I picked up a book called The Resilience Project, which was Gem, and read that. And that really sort of was like, oh, wow, okay. Like that sort of inspired me to go and volunteer. And so I read that book and I read another book. And then I invested in a life coaching course, which just by doing the weekly modules and educating myself in terms of how to help other people, um, that really sort of started to help myself. And I've found that really, really valuable. Um, but yeah, that was the day that like really just triggered a whole chain reaction of things that I would then go and do and just ultimately change my mindset, change my approach to life. And it was just coming out of a big heartbreak, which just never like fixed itself, never got back together, and whatnot. And so yeah, I basically just at that time that she told me that I never had felt so alone or worthless. I like just felt really disregarded and not important, and so I've really struggled with that, and I've struggled like mental health wise with just like depression from when I was 15 years old, and through that process I've had like suicide ideation and so on, which is just sort of like part of my life where I just feel like there's not a place for me in the world. and and yeah, that was a really hard time. And so I think going through the process of hearing that and then working on myself really started to change like my perspective on life. And ultimately, after reading the book, I and sold the house, I went to Vietnam and volunteered, and that sort of sparked the passion for me to help people and travel at the same time. And that's the sort of path I'm on now.
So basically, you tried to volunteer into things, and that's how you got of the situation.
Yeah, I think it was a mixture. 'Cause when I volunteered, it was only for 10 days, and I was teaching English in Vietnam. But on the back end of that, I then had another 5 weeks through Vietnam and Thailand, and that process for me, I was able to meet a lot of amazing people, and I realized like through meeting people, everyone has a story to share and everyone has a story to tell, and and I met some really inspiring people which I still talk to today and connect with, and one of them is a ambassador for the brand for just another moment. Um, and just hearing that story, or hearing people's stories really helped me and go, okay, well, people have a voice and people want to share, and if I can help them share that story, maybe we can inspire other people to share their stories and share their dreams, and maybe if we're inspiring people, we're helping people. So volunteering was the first step, and then I went back. I went to Africa and volunteered at an orphanage in January as well, and it's just such a heartwarming process. But knowing that you're building social connections whilst you're traveling and you're connecting yourself back to nature, um, it's just that's really transformative, and healing as well. So yeah.
So, what is the key message you want to give to someone who is going through or has gone through similar situation and is not able to come out of that?
Yeah. So I think first of all, I want to just say that you're never alone. You're not alone. There is a place in the world for you, and you might just not have found it yet. Um, and I think that's really important to understand that you might feel lost, you might feel isolated and alone, but there are communities out there, and there are people out there that all they want to do is help you. All they want to do is help you develop that self confidence or a sense of self worth, and self love. So, firstly, you're not alone, and you never will be. There are places out there for you, and then I think dealing with heartache and heartbreak is a really challenging thing, and sometimes it's not a reflection on you and who you are as a person. Sometimes it's a reflection on the other person, which they might not see your true value, they might not see who you are, and sometimes you might have just grown apart, which is what happened for me. And by putting yourself out there, I know it's scary, I always put myself in a very closed off space, but by putting yourself out there, you will be able to find people that really sort of match who you are as a person, and who you want to be as a person. And that's the space that I try to provide as well through my business, is a space where people can come together, where they can share their stories, they can feel safe to share if they want to, but if they don't want to, that's totally fine as well. But it's a community of people that are there to hold that space and are there to inspire the next person, the person sitting next to them. That story could inspire them. And yeah, really though, ultimately you're not alone, and there are groups out there for you. If you're struggling with your mental health, there's professional services, there's community groups, and there's really good people in this world. And for me, that's what keeps me going, is knowing that if I just help one person in any way, that's a win for me. So I have this motto that I live by, which is live for those that can't.
So, let's come to our main ritual line. And yes, please do go and watch this link to know more about his project.
Okay, cool. So, guys, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Second Life. It's a really amazing project and a really amazing person that is behind it, and super, super inspiring, which is why we connected and I wanted to, catch up and meet him. But yeah, comment, like, share, subscribe. And if you know someone that you think would benefit from watching this content, definitely share that and spread the word, because it's really, really cool and inspirational stuff. So